Hello there guys, my name is MrYorkiesWorld, welcome back to the channel, and in today's video I thought I would do something a little bit different. It's something that's been requested actually. We're going to be taking a short flight, maybe about 20 minutes or so, around Atlanta. Atlanta is one of the airports that has recently been included in the USA, the World Update 2 USA. We're on runway 27 right, I believe, in this particular footage. And what I actually did is I set up a route which you can see on the right hand side display there. I'm just going to set up the aircraft, sort of synchronizing the heading and stuff like that, activating the flight director, all the stuff we're going to need. And we have got a route set up, which I've created myself, but we will probably deviate from that in this video. And we're going to be setting our altitude to 3,000 feet. With a 600 feet per minute climb, and I wanted to actually check out what Atlanta looks like in the simulator now, and it's hopefully going to look pretty nice. So we'll head over to the city of Atlanta itself and then probably head back here and try to land on this same runway. Again, we'll probably deviate from that plan that we've got on the right hand side. Might just follow it for a little while. I'm going to turn nav mode off and heading select can go on, and I'll just sort of wing it because I've got Avlosoft TFB version 2 open on my second screen, so I can sort of follow the plan on there as well. But look at that view, absolutely gorgeous. Obviously the airport itself is one of the new highly detailed airports, and I can really see the amount of detail that's gone into it. Obviously at some point I might have to do like a separate review sort of video just to show off that detail in more detail. But for now I think we're going to be focusing mainly on just flying over and seeing the city of Atlanta. But look at that, that is absolutely gorgeous. Obviously with air traffic disabled it still shows ground traffic, which if you did something like that in P3D it wouldn't do it. It would just get rid of all traffic completely. Got a few micro stutters, but we're still running about between 40 and 50 FPS at the minute. We're in the 40s now, low 40s, but Atlanta is quite a highly sort of dense area, so, or at least the airport is, it's quite a large airport. But if we go over to the second screen there, we can see that is the flight plan again. Kilo Alpha Tango Lima is going to be the departure and the arrival. Look at that for a view, that is absolutely magnificent. That is the city of Atlanta over there. And at the moment in the simulator I've had a few issues with scenery loading and stuff like that. It appears that the buildings and everything look a little bit warped and a little bit funny until you get close to them. We had the same issue with the Hollywood sign in the previous video on the channel, if you've seen that. It didn't really come into much detail until we got literally just a few hundred feet away from it. Now you can see me messing around with the heading select here. What I'm trying to do is just get us to a position where we can see the city. Look at that for a view. Not sure what's going on there with the livery on this aircraft. It doesn't seem to want to show my Yorkie registration. There we go, that's what it's meant to look like, but obviously we've got the overlapping text. But such amazing views. But what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get slightly to the left of the city so that when we go over it we can see the right amount of detail. Now it can be quite tricky trying to get the heading correct and to sort of get that perfect angle. One thing I will do is just reduce the rate of climb a little bit, because then I might have a little bit of a better view just over the dash of the aircraft. So you can sort of see things a little bit better now. Now already from here, to me it looks a little bit sort of low quality, and that is unfortunately, at the time of recording this video, there has been an update since then, but at the time of recording this particular video, that was one of the issues that we were having. I'm going to disconnect the autopilot, and I'm actually going to reduce the altitude a little bit. So deviating away from the autopilot for just a second. It's always nice to hand fly the Cessna. Going to reduce the speed as well. I probably should have put this in the flight plan at a lower altitude than 3000, to be fair. We are only in the Cessna. So if you look closely, just above the right display there, you can see what I mean. It's got like a weird loading effect to it, like the buildings start to build themselves up from like a weird shape. And I'm not sure what's causing that. It's not so noticeable now, but as we start to get a little bit closer, you will notice that. A little bit of stuttering coming in as the scenery loads in, but again, it's quite complex with all those buildings. A common misconception about this simulator was that, oh, it won't have any issues loading because it's all off the internet and things like that. Not how it works, unfortunately. We still have loading issues in the simulator that are not necessarily related to the internet speed, because my internet speed is more than capable of handling this particular simulator. But that looks very, very sort of grainy and very blurry to me. I mean, I don't know what's going on with the shapes of the buildings. Maybe this is sort of contained or isolated to my particular system, because every system is different, but I'm not sure. Obviously, feel free to leave me a comment if you know the solution to this particular issue, if there is one, of course. So if you didn't notice a few moments ago, I did put the autopilot back in just so that we can get some good views. Now, things have started to come into focus a bit more now. Aside from some of those very strange buildings. I'm just going to synchronise the current heading. That would have been quite a nice screenshot had it not been for the weird shaped buildings, but you can see the stutter as well. It's starting to stutter now as we load in. It looks better than what you'd probably get from like stock simulator scenery, but at the same time it's far from complete and far from perfect. Got to love the external views. Things do look a little bit better now, but to be honest, they haven't changed a hell of a lot. You see, that's a little bit better, but then we get the buildings there just off the dash. You can see them loading in. And it's just got this weird blurriness to it that doesn't look quite right. So let's throttle back up again and get some speed as we prepare to head back towards Atlanta. And here's where you can see a lot of stuttering, especially when the aircraft's turning or making any sort of manoeuvre. That's when that stutter appears to happen. So making a right turn now. Lovely trees. I've always said the same thing about the trees in Microsoft Flight Simulator. I absolutely love them. So essentially we're going to turn back on ourselves now towards the south, where we will try to make our approach back onto runway 27 right at Atlanta. Look at that. That is absolutely gorgeous, with the sun in the background and that haze. And it's almost as if you can't really see the poor quality buildings in this shot, because they're not really detailed enough at that distance to really see what they are lacking. So we are sort of following that plan that we've got on the right display there. I didn't want to actually turn on nav mode and follow it all the way, because it's not really, you know, I like to be able to hand fly, or at least use the heading select and stuff like that to be able to do it, because following a route, I suppose it's alright, but it's nice to be able to make your own corrections and deviations from that when you need to. So just reducing the altitude now to 1500 feet, just in preparation for our approach. Can't quite remember whether we did land on 27 right in this particular footage, but I'm sure we'll find out. Look at that for a view. Beautiful. FPS is looking pretty good, 54, 53. And then obviously we get like 10 FPS less in the virtual cockpit, but that can be expected. Just trying to glance over and see if I can see the airport, which I can't, but there is the city of Atlanta. Just one last time before we land. I've got a feeling that 500 call out is going to get very annoying. So we might end up having to reduce down a little bit more.
500. 500. 500. 500. 500. 500.
Okay, you know what?
500.
I am literally just going to take manual control, take us a little bit higher up, just to stop that annoying call out. Hand flight for a little while. Probably hand flight for the rest of the flight. I can't imagine that being a problem. It's not as if we haven't done it in the past. A little bit of popping in there and popping out, to be fair. And we seem to have a little bit of an FPS drop. For those of you interested, the FPS can be found in the bottom right hand corner of this video, as always. But just look at this absolutely stunning view. And that one as well. So at the moment I'm just reducing the throttle down just to help us stay within a nice controlled descent. We don't want to be going over speed. So I can see the runway lights now. Now for which runways I have no idea, but I'm assuming that one of them is going to be 27 right. Got a few minutes yet before we have to make that base turn. We're going to have a nice headwind as well, so everything's in our favour. But if you look past the stutters and the FPS drops and stuff, this really is a magnificent simulator. This is why I love doing VFR flying, such as what I've been doing lately, because it's just so rewarding. So starting that right base turn now. Probably left that a little bit too late, actually. So we're going to have to do a little bit more manoeuvring just to get ourselves back on profile, but that's fine. As always, we're going to be aiming for the 2 reds and 2 whites on the pappies, and we will try to touch it down perfectly in the right place on the centre line. In the meantime, if you haven't already subscribed to this channel and this is the first time you're watching this video, I would highly recommend that you subscribe if you want to see videos similar to this one. I do try to take requests and fulfill those requests, so if you'd like to see a particular area explored within the simulator, then feel free to let me know. And of course, as soon as I hear anything in terms of PMDG, you can guarantee I'm going to be straight back into the IFR flying with the 737. Probably try and get some A320neo flights done in the meantime, but I do prefer Boeing. I've always been a Boeing man. I just tend to get on with those aircraft a lot better. So I'm going to start reducing down on the speed in just a few minutes. I am trying to get to 2 reds and 2 whites on the Pappies. That's 3 reds. So at least we've got 1 white back. There we go, 2 reds, 2 whites. I don't even think we had any whites in the first place. I was way too low. But we just held off that descent a little bit and we've got ourselves back on profile. A little bit high now. Perfect, there we go. Trying to stay at about 80 knots as well. Probably reduce that down a little bit more, to be fair. Looking good on those Pappies still. And we seem to be dead on the centre line as well. Got to admit the landings that I've done in the Cessna appear to be getting a little bit better now, compared to what they used to be when I slammed it into the ground. So this is actually runway 26 left that we're going to be landing on, as opposed to 27 right. So over the threshold. I'm going to idle the power. Keep that nose up. Touchdown, there we go, that was alright. I was operating the flaps in between there, by the way. I just completely forgot to actually mention them. But I did indeed. You can see they've been extended. I'm just retracting them now. But they were extended before we landed. Way before we landed. And there we go. Welcome once again back to Atlanta. Which was a nice little flight. It's been about 15 minutes, something like that. I'm just going to vacate here. I've got no idea where I'm going. I'm sure I'll find some sort of parking space or parking spot. But that is essentially it. If you would like to see more videos similar to this one, obviously I do intend on doing full flight videos, but it's a little bit difficult at the moment because the airliners that we do have, such as the fly-by-wire A320, they're all okay, but I just prefer Boeing, and obviously we've been having some issues with the A320 in the simulator as of late, so it's not really been the best. And the 787 is definitely an option. I would definitely consider doing 787 flights, even if it's like a short hop. If you can think of any flights that you'd like me to do, feel free to let me know in the comments. Again, IFR flying is great, but at the moment when you've not really got a fully functional sort of study level airliner, it's a bit difficult, and I just prefer VFR at the moment, but obviously I do definitely want to get back into IFR. So give me some ideas in the comments. I'll have a look, see what I can do, and we'll get an IFR flight done very, very shortly on the channel. So thanks very much for watching, guys. I'm going to try and find a place to actually park this aircraft now. But thank you very much for watching. Subscribe if you're not subscribed already. Give the video a like, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.